Ambassador. That sounds important. An ambassador is a representative or messenger that is sent out for a special assignment or mission. Most of us probably don't know anyone who is actually an ambassador. So how do we know how to be one? Perhaps Jesus is our best example. Jesus represented God, and his special assignment was to show humanity how to live in a way that loves and serves others. One of Jesus' last commands to his people is known as the Great Commission. To sum it up, Jesus told us to go into all the world and continue the work that he started. That sounds pretty important. At Chi Alpha, we believe we are all called to be ambassadors for Christ. And because it is so important, we could all probably use some training to make sure we are the most effective ambassadors we can be. That is why we have created the Ambassador Program, a year-long commitment that will train, equip, and inspire students to be effective ambassadors for Christ. What does an effective ambassador look like? Well, I'm glad you asked. We believe there are 3 essential values that ambassadors must have in order to be effective. Value number 1, real spirituality. If we are going to be out there representing Christ, then we should be pretty well acquainted with the life and teachings of Jesus. An effective ambassador must have a hunger to study, learn, and put into practice the teachings of Jesus, as well as a commitment to doing spiritual practices daily. Trust me, we aren't talking boring religious ritual stuff. Our staff team is so excited to teach you creative spiritual practices that will excite you to go deeper and connect to God in unique and personal ways. Value number 2, real community. At Chi Alpha, it is our conviction that no one should feel alone, and everyone belongs. That is why we believe in the power of community. But in the United States, we can be rather selfish as a society, always looking out for ourselves, our church, our race, or our political party. But this is clearly not the type of community that Jesus came to create. Martin Luther King lamented that 11 o'clock on Sunday morning is the most segregated hour in America. That must break God's heart. If we look at Jesus, we see that he was so passionate about creating a diverse community that he crossed metaphysical realities, gave up his privilege, morphed into physical form, and spent 30 years on earth just hanging out with us, all the while knowing that his pursuit of us would ultimately cost him his life. Powerful stuff. So, at Chi Alpha, we are committed to following Jesus and pursuing a diverse community that doesn't just serve ourselves but looks to serve others. How do we pursue this? We start like Jesus did, hanging out with one another. As ambassadors, you will help to provide fun and welcoming environments with the purpose of creating diverse friendships that challenge us to see things differently and ultimately forces us to change our narrow point of view into something so much more beautiful that looks like the kingdom of God. Lastly, value number 3, real responsibility. Jesus said, "If you love me, you will feed my sheep." That is a real responsibility that Jesus left to us. Mother Teresa once said, "I used to pray that God would feed the hungry, but now I pray that God would change my heart so that I will feed the hungry." We believe the mission of Jesus was to alleviate suffering in the world, and it is our responsibility as Christ's ambassadors to continue that work. What are some ways that our community can alleviate suffering? Well, just think of what a group of students like you could do to feed the homeless or refugee in our community. What if we got involved with green love projects like cleaning up beaches or hiking trails? Imagine the impact if we were to reach out to those who feel the most marginalized on our campus, like our friends at the Pride Center or international students. Really, whatever God puts on your heart to do, we want to make it happen. Science and psychology have proven what Jesus has shown us all along, that serving others not only helps the greater good, but is also healing to our souls. Proverbs 11:25, "Whoever brings blessings will be enriched." We think everyone could benefit from being a part of something bigger than themselves. We want our campus to know we are Christians because of our love. And by being united in these 3 areas, real spirituality, real community, and real responsibility, together we can be a movement that changes our community, our campus, and even our world. So yeah, ambassadors sounds important. That's because it is. Join the movement. Commit to being a Chi Alpha ambassador today.